This is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield from the Lind Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Michael provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Wealth Puzzle. I'm Tana Pennington, and I want to reintroduce you to Owen Hill. He's my son. We're out here in the Lind Group's Texas office, just outside of Dallas. We're gearing up for some educational seminars that we're going to be presenting to our community out here in Dallas on retirement income planning. So if you want to come out and see us, we've got a handful of dates available in February. Fly into Dallas. We'd love to have you. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the Christmas and holiday festivities this season, this month, and we're really looking forward to 2026. It's just right next door, and we've got new opportunities, new growth, new goals that we're setting, and we're trying to really just enter it with a positive mindset. So very excited.
Yeah, I'm glad that you reintroduced us. I don't want anybody to get on the podcast and suddenly see me and think,
All right,
it's a little bit different. It's just not the case. I get it all the time. Me and Mike, we look so similar. Not so much.
A little too much hair.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. That's a good point. Too much hair. In fact, this is probably the most hair this podcast has ever seen. So, new year, new milestones already being met. Look at that. We're on to a really, really hot start.
Yeah, no, all's good. We miss Mike, though. He's awesome.
Yeah, we do. Mike, we miss you. He'll be back on very soon. So me and Tana, we wanted to jump on and make a video. The market, has sort of been doing a lot of different things. It's been pretty volatile. It's been up, it's been down, it's kind of been all over the place. We also got some economic data that came out, and so we'll kind of talk through some stuff and explain what an interesting event that is taking place. So you can see that since October, the market has been up, it's been down, it's been all over the place. It's responding to the Fed. Right? Good news is bad news is good news. It all feels broken, right? That's what we talked about in the last video.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. But in all reality, it's just that. It's responding to what the Fed is doing. Everything else is sort of a wash. And so that's what you're seeing here. When something comes out, an economic indicator, some good data, some bad data, the Fed's cutting, that's what's happening. The market is responding respectively in the same way. And so recently, I'm going to move over to this tab. The GDP report was released. So I think it was a week ago today, or no, it would have been Tuesday. So a week and a day, forgive me. Analyst expectation was for GDP to come out around 3.2%. However, GDP came out at 4.3%, which is a fantastic number, right? For a established first world country like ourselves, this number is supposed to be in the threes, right? For a country, a country that is expanding, growing, right, becoming a very civilized country, doing all sorts of fun stuff, that number will be closer to 4. And so the fact that the U.S. had a GDP reading of 4.3% is actually really outstanding, given everything else that's going on, right? So you would think that since we got a really good GDP report number come out, that the market would be going ballistic. It'd be off the walls. It'd be shouting from the rooftops, praise and excitement. But it did the opposite, right? If we go back to this chart, the market has sort of been, So why? Well, that's what me and Tana talked about. And so I'm going to switch over to this super awesome, what do you want to call it? Word document that I put together. I don't want to put the blame on Tana for what you guys are about to see because the drawings are mine, not hers.
They're great, actually.
Yeah.
They deserve being hung up on the refrigerator.
Yeah, right. I think it does. There it is. Look at that. I think it does makes the point. It does it justice, if you will. So let's walk through this. We got a GDP data report that was good, but the markets responded sad. They were not happy. Well, why? Good GDP equals less rate cuts, right? The market is going to respond to what the Fed is going to do. If the economy is expanding, the Fed is not going to cut. And so the market says, well, shoot, 4.3, that means less rate cuts. Less rate cuts mean higher borrowing costs. Mm-hmm. Higher borrowing costs mean slow, sluggish, lethargic earnings from stock.
I love your snail.
Yeah, you like that? Fun fact about the snail is when we were sitting in church or when I was doodling at school, I would draw snails. I don't know why I thought snails were so funny. For whatever reason, I just have this fascination with snails. Whatever. So bad, slow, lethargic earnings leads to uncertainty and volatility. But why does all this matter? Why are we making a video about this? Well, it matters because of something called the sequence of return risk, specifically for retirees. So Tana mentioned at the very beginning of this podcast that we were entering the season of seminars. We're going to be doing all these educational seminars. We're going to be having people come and listen to us talk and then try to explain how to build an income plan. Part of that is dealing with the sequence of return risk. How do we do that? Well, a lot of you, if not all of you, have either seen it from us or you've seen it from Mike himself. He'll draw it up on the whiteboard. He's got one side with income and then another side with a couple buckets for growth. And they all have a purpose. It all does something. On the left side, we're sort of creating fixed streams of income. Things like Social Security, pensions, rental income, things like that, right? Steady streams. We call that mailbox money, right? Like that, my little mailbox right here.
Yeah.
Mailbox money. And on the right side, we have sort of our money segmented out in buckets. We've got a safe bucket, we've got a balanced bucket, and we've got a growth bucket. And they all have a purpose. You can see my little waterfall right here. This is supposed to be water. In this growth bucket, things are growing, things are doing awesome. Maybe they're up, maybe they're down. But for the most part, when this bucket starts to overfill, it spills over into this balanced bucket. And then when that balanced bucket starts to overfill, it fills up the safe bucket, right? This is called rebalancing. And we do this when the market is up. When we've got a lot of growth, we take some off the top and we sort of rebalance where needs be. Now, this safe bucket down here, this is the bucket we use for emergencies. Right?
Yeah, that's where we create our income because we don't want it to be invested in the stock market.
Exactly. We don't want to draw from a bucket of money that is invested in the stock market. I mentioned sequence of return risk, and this is why. This is why the income plan helps deal with that. Sequence of return risk is the opposite of dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging is something I think most of us are very familiar with, is saving money. You get paid, you take a chunk of that paycheck, you throw it at your 401k, you set it, you forget it, and you let it grow. That's dollar cost averaging. Whether market's up, market's down, you're throwing money into your 401k and investing. Simple. That's what we do while we're working. Now, when we enter retirement, it's a different phase of life. It's a completely different style of investing. When we get to this phase of life, we're now pulling from those assets. So it's the inverse. Instead of adding, we're pulling from those 401ks. And so the sequence of return risk is essentially saying, look, as you pull from your 401k, the market is going to go up and down. If you pull from your 401k when the market is down, you're compounding the negative effects of a down market. It's the risk of pulling money out when the market is sort of at a low. So that risk eats away at the longevity, the amount of time that we can draw upon these assets. Now, there's a little bit more complexity to it, and it's easier said than done. But when we build the income plan with this mailbox money, these segmented buckets of investments, it allows us to sort of negate or deal with that sequence of risk. Because remember, that sequence of return risk really only sits in this growth and this balanced bucket. Meanwhile, any safe money that we need, right? Any emergency money that we might need. I don't know. You got to put a new roof on your home. You're doing some home renovations, right? On your home, you had to put, what was it, a couple bathrooms or something? You renovated some bathrooms. You pulled money out of
Super expensive.
Yes. Yeah. That's a whole different podcast. You had to pull money out of a safe bucket to do so. You don't pull it directly out of your 401k or your IRA, because that's where the volatility lies. That's where that sequence of return risk relies. So all that to say, we found it very interesting that the GDP data came out and it was not so happy. It was lethargic. Well, the market was responding lethargically to it. And so, how do you navigate something like that? How do you navigate when something should be good news, but it's not, right? The market is responding poorly. Well, we navigate that by building a very robust, comprehensive income plan. Now, this is something Mike has worked on for what, 10, 20 years, just sort of trying to explain this concept to people. So kudos to him. This is sort of his brainchild, his thought bubble that he's allowed us to sort of go out and share with other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this allows you to not have to deal with the stressfulness, the anxiousness, the worries of the market, right? You create something that sort of works in the background, allows you to enjoy it.
Weathers that storm. Yeah. Kind of gives you that peace of mind. Yeah. Just stay the course. There's going to be a pullback at some time. We all know that's going to happen. It's very common. It's part of the cycle of the market. So, just don't panic. We'll see it through and just stay the course.
Yeah. To that point, the market's been fantastic. Year to date, I think we're up just around 15%. So doing really well. We're in a really good spot. We're happy with everything. But yeah, we wanted to jump on and make a video sort of explaining this confusing world reality that we live in, right? So all fine and dandy.
Yeah. Well, we hope you have a wonderful new year and look forward to talking with all of you. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. My direct line is 805-377-7117. You also know the office number, 805-500-7035. That'll be on the screen in just a moment, but we do want to wish you a very happy and safe new year at the Lind Group.